One of the talks, Tennessee spring practice as the Vols back at it in week 2, and it's brought to you by Craft Treats. I'll tell you more about Craft Treats here in just a second. Let's talk some defensive line. No one knew this time last year that edge rusher Byron Young would turn into such a productive player. The same, to a lesser extent, could be said for LaTrell Bumphus. Both are now gone. He was a great contributor, probably a little underrated last year. So let's look at who Tennessee has coming back. I would say on the edge, it's led by Tyler Barron. He has started 8 games in his career, got 69 tackles, 16 and a half for a loss. The guy I really like from a talent standpoint is Joshua Joseph, has like 7'2" wingspan or something bizarro, or 6'10" wingspan. And he's like 6'3". It's just, I mean, he has great length. James Pierce Jr., I believe, and Rodney Garner said this, has to do some maturing. Caleb Herring is one to keep an eye on. I think the guy that everybody just expects to be good is Omari Thomas. But this defensive line without Byron Young, without LaTrell Bumphus, can it be as good or better as it was last year, Caleb? What say you?
Yeah, I think it can. I don't think I have a lot of respect for Byron Young and what he did. And LaTrell Bumphus was the ultimate team player. I think LaTrell Bumphus was definitely not irreplaceable. There's other defensive linemen that with more experience could do what he did on this roster. Byron Young's a little bit trickier, but I've always felt Tyler Barron could reach Byron Young's level the whole time. And you're right, with Joshua Josephs getting more experience. Look, they've added Caleb Herring. They've added some guys too. So I think they're going to be a little bit deeper this year with edge rushers. They're still fine in the middle. They have we talked about this back over December when Jordan Phillips hit the transfer portal. I firmly believe that was, Nathan Leacock that came on board as an early enrollee and was making such an impact that Jordan Phillips just hit the portal. Omar Norman Lott has been added, a really key transfer. I think they have a lot more depth and versatility at defensive line this year than they did last year, even with those 2 losses.
I agree. I mean, I think I was talking to you or somebody. I was like, I feel like I'm missing somebody, that Bumpus and Young, that there's somebody else that left. I mean, that's really, Young was your best defensive lineman, your best edge rusher last year, but he's not irreplaceable. It's not like Leonard Little went off to the NFL, and or Sean Ellis for that matter. And I think that he's replaceable, and yeah, I think he was still pretty raw. I think he could have a better NFL career than college career, and he had a really good college career. So, Tennessee, I believe, will be deeper on the defensive line, which will help with the pace they play on offense. But they want to play vertical. They gotta coach a lot of these guys to play vertical. And I think it was Omar Norman Lott, and specifically that Garner was talking about, that he has to get upfield more. The goal is to rip upfield, and there have been times where Tennessee has had to worry about gap containment with mobile quarterbacks, but that's not now. That is, they want to get upfield and show that they can be a disruptive force. A couple other things from spring camp week 1 is Joe Milton is the starting quarterback, despite what I say or whatever. It would take Milton would have to lose that job. I believe wholeheartedly that it would have to become during the fall. And I think that Joe Milton will go into, they're not going to say it, but will come out of spring as the starter. Will go into August as a starter. Will go into the season as a starter. If he has issues, and he did throw an interception to Arian Carter in practice last week, if he has issues during the season, then things could change. A freshman to watch. Keep an eye on Ethan Davis. I just continue to hear rave reviews about Ethan Davis, the tight end who primarily played more of a receiver position in high school. But I think he's going to be one of Tennessee's best tight ends in a number of years. When did Tennessee last have a great tight end? How far back do we have to go?
Receiving tight end.
Consider Ethan Wolf a great tight end? or a good tight end?
I considered him a good tight end. I think Butch Jones did him a lot of disservices in preparing him for the NFL.
Agreed. I would have to go back to I will go ahead and say that I think Ethan Davis has a great chance of being the best tight end at Tennessee.
What about Michael Rivera?
Yeah, he didn't do a lot for me. I think that Ethan Davis has a great opportunity to be the best tight end at Tennessee since a guy named Jason Witten. More practice notes. CraftTreats.com, though, they've got your dog treats, and they've got the chill pills with the CBD infused treats for your pet that'll help with indigestion, that'll help with any sort of anxiety, be it car rides, social anxiety, and also will certainly help with arthritis like my dog deals with. Cameron Seldon is your running back to watch in Tennessee in practice. By the way, I forgot to say, with crafttreats.com, crafttreats.com, use the promo code off the hook to get 20% off. So there you go. That is a running back to watch, Cameron Seldon. They're spending a lot of time with him. I think he's very good. An incomer to watch. The Vols, I think, need help, obviously, with Darnell Wright and Jeremiah Crawford. I'm hearing great things about John Campbell, who has heavy hands, and I believe will play at left tackle. When all is said and done, they're still doing some shuffling there. We talk about slot receivers. Squirrel White is right now the number one guy at the slot receiver. I know that Caleb loves Dante Thornton, and he may overcome him with size and athleticism, but for right now, Squirrel, as you would expect, is getting most of the reps at the first team. Couple of other more Vols notes that you can find at offthehooksports.com, brought to you by Craft Treats, crafttreats.com. Use the promo code offthehook for 20% off. Omar Norman Lott has been solid and made at least one play in the backfield. BYU transfer Gabe Judy Lawley has been running with the second string defensive backs. Fellow Cougar transfer Keenan Pili looks like he'll be a factor at linebacker. No great surprise. Vols could use
love those Cougars.
What's that?
I said, gotta love those Cougars.
You gotta love Cougars. The Vols could use another center. I don't know what would happen behind them. I don't think Jordan Addison's ready, so they might do some shuffling. So, what stands out to you about some Tennessee football? And Travis said, "Who was the starting quarterback?" Did I miss it? Oh, it was definitely Joe Milton.
He did that in a troll. He was trying to joke with you, Dave.
Definitely, I know what he's doing. Third. Go ahead. So, what stands out to you about the standouts of spring camp week 1?
I mean, I'm still on the biggest thing for me is the fact that Cameron Seldon moved to running back. That tells me they're looking to play him immediately. That's the real one. I'm not shocked that Squirrel's ahead of Dante Thornton right now. He should be because of playing in the offense last year. It's 1 week. Here's something that stands out to me. If Squirrel is beating Dante in the slot, does that make it possible that Dante actually beats out maybe like Ramel Keaton for the other wideout spot?
Yeah, I thought about that all along. Or is he one of the, when we haven't seen this in Josh Heupel's offense yet, or is he one of the guys that can play both? Because you talk about shortening the wide receiver rotation. They have also specified who plays where, and there hasn't been a lot of movement from one to the other. Is that something that Josh Heupel does because he has young, inexperienced players, even last year? With Brew and Squirrel, and obviously the year before with Valus, does he just want them to learn one position, or do we see guys move around? Thornton, I think, brings you that type of ability to play on the outside as well. So I've been very impressed. Now, the thing with Seldon, I'm going to put my reporter's cap on and be somewhat of a cynic. The thing with Seldon, and he may be the best running back Tennessee's had since Jamal Lewis, but with moving Seldon, it makes me wonder if perhaps he wasn't as good showing up as they thought, and they needed somebody with Jabari Small, for instance, being limited because they don't need him in spring practice. If they just needed a big body to go out there, that does make me wonder that a little bit, Caleb. Now, he may be the best running back in Tennessee football history, but I wonder that.
That's possible. I know that they do that, particularly running back when they don't have a lot of depth. They'll hold guys like Jabari Small. They'll hold their running backs out of spring practice. I feel like, as my understanding with running backs, and you covered practices, so you know more than I do. it's more important for them to stay conditioned than it is for them to get reps, isn't it?
Yes, stay healthy. That's the most important thing. Smoky Mountain Red brought up an old name. David Martin was before Witten by a year or two, but those are our last two good tight ends.
But he was mostly a receiver at Tennessee.
Yes, and I will tell you right now that they tried to talk him into moving to tight end throughout his career, and he would not move. And then what did he do? He had like a huge night, Monday Night Football for the Packers, I believe, guys. Is that right?
The Packers.
And they're like, who's this tight end out of nowhere? Well, when the cash started flowing, he agreed to move to tight end. He should have been moved to tight end, but he refused it for a long, long time.